Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome, focused learners. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating, research-backed explainer that might literally shift how you look at childhood development forever. We're talking about the Japanese philosophy of parenting. It's this incredible system that consistently ranks Japanese kids among the most well-behaved and self-disciplined anywhere on the planet. And the kicker? As you'll see, it's not because of fear or super strict rules. It's actually all about a beautifully structured approach to teaching.
To really get a feel for how this works, picture this. Imagine you're on a packed train right in the middle of Tokyo. Out of nowhere, a toddler just completely melts down. But the mom, she does nothing. There's no yelling, no frantic bribing with a tablet or snacks, no desperate whispers of please stop it right now. She just waits, super calmly, almost like she knows a secret the rest of the world doesn't.
So it begs the massive question, why on earth is the mother doing nothing? I mean, for a lot of us, that's the exact moment total panic sets in, right? But here's the thing. Japanese children aren't behaving because they're terrified of getting in trouble. This mother is actually using a highly intentional philosophy. And what's wild is that top researchers, we're talking Harvard, Stanford, major child development institutes, have studied this. They found that this exact approach is precisely why Japanese children are so incredibly good at regulating their emotions.
And this brilliantly illustrates a striking difference in how we approach things. Over in the West, we generally lean towards a reactive style. We wait for the bad behavior to happen, and then boom, we react. We yell, we take away the iPad, we do timeouts. We're just constantly putting out fires, basically punishing the symptoms. But the Japanese approach? It's preventative. They aren't interested in putting out behavioral fires all day. They want to prevent them from ever sparking by proactively teaching skills. Let's break down exactly how they pull this off. Pillar 1, Shitsuke, which translates to attaching beauty to the body. This one foundational concept is going to make you entirely rethink the word discipline. In Japanese, Shitsuke is written using two characters. One means body, and the other means beauty. So literally, it means to attach beauty to the body. It has absolutely nothing to do with punishment or control. It's literally the art of raising a kid who actually wants to behave. Not because they're scared of the consequences, but because good behavior has been so deeply nurtured that it's just a permanent part of who they are.
So the crucial point really boils down to this one incredibly powerful question that Japanese parents ask themselves whenever their kid acts out. They ask, what skill is my child missing right now? Just notice how completely that reframes the situation. It's no longer, how do I stop this annoying behavior? Instead, it's a curious, what does my child not yet know how to do?
Because let's be honest, here's a profound human truth we all tend to forget. Kids don't misbehave just to make our lives miserable. They act out because they literally lack specific teachable skills, things like emotional regulation, patience, or how to properly communicate. I mean, nobody's born with that stuff, right? It has to be patiently modeled. And the second you shift your mindset from, I need to punish this behavior to, I need to teach this missing skill, the entire dynamic in your house totally changes.
Which brings us right back to that mom on the Tokyo train and what she was actually doing. Pillar 2, Mimamoru, or the productive struggle. She was practicing Mimamoru. This means to watch over while protecting. It's built on this belief that kids actually grow stronger when adults actively resist that knee-jerk urge to intervene at the very first sign of difficulty. In the West, we've got this well-intentioned, deeply ingrained instinct to rescue. Kid struggles, we step in. Kid cries, we fix it. We do it out of love, obviously, but we accidentally send them this silent message that they can't handle things on their own. Japanese parents, on the other hand, step back. They just observe with deep trust.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the developmental psychology backing it up. By letting a child just sit in that discomfort long enough to try and figure it out, they experience what psychologists call productive struggle. And get this, productive struggle is one of the absolute strongest predictors of long-term emotional resilience. Real, genuine confidence doesn't come from an adult constantly hovering and saying good job. It comes from the kid actually working through a really tough moment all by themselves.
So how do we actually apply Mimamoru when things get chaotic? Well, here is a super practical rule of thumb you can try the very next time your child gets frustrated or upset. Step 1, pause. Step 2, just watch. And step 3, give them a full 10 seconds before you jump in. Just 10 seconds. You might be totally blown away by what they can actually resolve on their own if you just give them a tiny bit of space.
Now, hearing all this talk about independence and not coddling, you might think Japanese discipline is cold or super rigid, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Let's look at Pillar 3, Amae, the foundation of love.
You see, Japanese parenting is actually deeply rooted in this concept of Amae. It loosely translates to the feeling of being able to totally depend on another person's love. It's a state of really deep, unconditional, secure attachment. In early Japanese childhood, moms and kids are extraordinarily close. Stuff like co-sleeping is incredibly common, and physical closeness is just constant. The whole point is that the child is never, ever made to feel alone in the world.
And modern neuroscience completely backs up why this works so well. It all starts with that unconditional warmth and attachment. When a kid feels in their absolute bones that love is unconditional, they don't feel the need to act out just to grab your attention or test your limits. That baseline of secure attachment builds a nervous system that is highly capable of regulating itself. From that really solid foundation, you can introduce gradual structure, which eventually leads to true independence and responsibility. It's warmth first, structure second, always.
Okay, let's move to and see how this builds character identity out in the real world through daily rituals. You might have heard this fascinating little fact before. Japanese children clean their own classrooms every single day. There are no janitors doing it for them. And honestly, the adults aren't even forcing them to do it. They just do it. And this isn't just about keeping the room tidy. It introduces this absolutely vital concept. Behavior becomes character through daily repetition.
Starting from a surprisingly young age, we're talking like 4 years old, kids in Japan are given these small, everyday responsibilities. Things like setting the table, packing their own school bag, cleaning up after lunch. And parents aren't giving them these tasks because they desperately need help around the house. They do it because these repetitive, daily rituals actually build the child's core identity. The kids start to see themselves as capable, contributing members of society.
And this contrast right here is the secret sauce to the whole philosophy. While the Western style leans heavily on enforcing external rules and tossing out rewards, Japanese parenting focuses entirely on building character identity through ritual. Think about it. Internal identity is going to drive behavior way more powerfully than any external rule of timeout ever could. Instead of constantly yelling, "Do this because I said so," Japanese parents use daily modeling to quietly say, "This is who we are."
So, how do we bring this magic into our own homes starting today? Let's get into the 3-week challenge. Here are the exact rules for your 3-week setup, and it's super simple. First, just pick one small ritual. Maybe it's having them set the dinner table, pack their own backpack, or even just saying thank you before every meal. Second, do it every single day. And third, this is absolutely crucial, no pressure and no rewards. 0 bribes, no punishments. It's just about repetition, clear expectation, and trusting the process. Try to stick with it for 3 straight weeks.
At the end of the day, Japanese parents are calmer. But it's not by accident. It's because they've successfully built this incredibly reliable, proactive system. They use Shitsuke for prevention, Mimamoru for trust, and Amae for deep connection. It happens one ritual, one moment, and one small act of trust at a time. I want to wrap up this explainer by leaving you with one final, provocative question. By building identity, instead of just enforcing rules, who will your child start to become? These aren't just cultural secrets. They are fundamental human truths that you can literally start using in your living room tonight. If this explainer gave you a fresh perspective on raising emotionally resilient kids, do me a favor and share it with another parent who needs to hear it. And definitely hit subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives into the world